Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, very nice. If we can please show our faces as much as possible, all of us. Okay, can't wait more. Avinash, would you like to speak something? You can speak for a few minutes.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for this opportunity. And yes, so as you all know, today I'm supposed to give a Bhagavatam class. I will do my best. And I'm going to discuss Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse number 44, where Suta Goswami is talking about some very special instructions while concluding the incarnations of Krishna. That is Chapter 3. And we'll also introduce to that the background, what Suta Goswami is talking about. And also it will be very good if you all can ask me questions, because otherwise it becomes one-sided discussion. And what I like about this verse is, for that I should talk in the class.
Okay, I'm nearly there.
If you want, I can start with prayers, but I think we should start with prayers.
You can if you want to, but hold on, we are nearly done now. Okay, now just in a few seconds I'll give you so you can share as well, no problem.
Yes, ma'am. So, Prabhu, could you go to Fangrai at all yesterday?
Yes. Please now, I'll give you the sharing part, okay?
Okay.
Start this now. Okay, now you can do Hare Krishna.
So, can you all see my screen? Or I have to do something else? Share my screen.
You have to share your screen.
Yes, Prabhu, got it. Yeah. Yes.
Please stop, Roji. We're waiting for you.
Oh, I thought. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timendasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshunitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirare. Nashta Prayesu Abhadreshu Nishyam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Mahavishnu Goswami Iti Namine. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse number 44. And if you can kindly repeat after me. Tatra kirtayato vipra viprarshera bhuri tejasaha aham chadhya gamam tatra nivishtat tada anugrahat so aham vaha shravishyami yathadhitam yathamati tatra kirtayato vipra viprashera bhuri tejasaha aham chadhya gamam tatra nivishtashtad anugrahat so aham vaha shravayishyami yathadhitam yathamati. Tatra, there, kirta yatah, while reciting, vipraha, O Brahmanas, vipra, risheha, from the great Brahman Rishi, bhuri, greatly, tejasaha, powerful, aham, I, cha, also, adhyagamam, could understand, tatra, in that meeting, nivishtaha, being perfectly attentive, tata anugrahat, by his mercy, that very saha, that very thing, aham, I, vaha, unto you, shravayishyami, shall let you hear, yathadhitam yathamati, as far as my realization. There, while reciting, O Brahmanas, from the great Brahman rishis, greatly powerful, I also could understand in that meeting, being perfectly attentive, by his mercy, that very thing, I, unto you, shall let you hear as far as my realization. So we can go line by line. Tatra kirta yato vipra. There, while reciting, O Brahmanas, vipra shera bhuri tejasaha, from the great Brahman Rishi, greatly powerful, aham chadhya gamam tatra, I also could understand in that meeting, nivishtas tad anugrahat, being perfectly attentive by his mercy. So aham vaha shravishyami, that very thing, I unto you, shall let you hear, yathadhitam yathamati, as far as my realization. This yathadhitam yathamati is the critical part. As we hear, that's what we tell, not contamination. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O learned Brahmanas, when Shukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there, in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. Purport. One can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, in the pages of Bhagavatam if one has heard it from a self-realized great soul like Shukadeva Goswami. One cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sex indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam, nor can one learn from Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his mundane scholarship. One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Shukadeva Goswami and no one else. If one at all wants to see Lord Krishna in the pages, that is the process, and there is no alternative. Sutta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Shukadeva Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Shukadeva Goswami presented Bhagavatam as he heard it from his great father, and so also Sutta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Shukadeva Goswami. Simple hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word nivishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Shri Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. Thus, end of Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the first canto. Third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, we all know the background of Bhagavatam, where Shukadeva Goswami is talking about this scripture to Parikshit Maharaj, and Parikshit Maharaj has purified his life just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotee. And that same message is being repeated by Sukadeva Goswami. Sutta Goswami. What I understand from this purport and what I want to discuss today, that Krishna consciousness is very simple. We complicate it based on our own complication, our own understanding. What we are going to discuss also is what is devotional service, because that is the question I am being asked all the time. So we'll discuss about what is a devotional service. And to my realization, and as per Srimad Bhagavatam where I have studied, that hearing is the beginning and hearing is the end of purifying our devotional service. That's where it starts. Then how to purify our hearing, the listening, that rapt attention which Prabhupada is talking about and Sutta Goswami is mentioning about it. And the most important and critical part is source of knowledge, the disciplic succession as told by Srila Prabhupada. So if we follow this process, we can see Krishna in the Bhagavatam pages, and that keeps coming back in Prabhupada's purports all the time. So before we start, I want to discuss this. What is this devotional service is all about? There are 9 processes we know, and this is the famous verse which Srila Prahlad Maharaj is telling his father when his father asked that what you've learned from the school. And he says, Shri Prahlad Uvacha, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishno, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam, Iti Pumsha Prita Vishno, Bhaktischena Nava Lakshana, Kriyeta Bhagavati Adha Tanmane Adhitam Uttamam. This Adhitam word comes here again. That's learning. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 6 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord's one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So that is devotional service, these 9 processes, and we are going to focus on hearing, Sharanam. And that's what Sutta Goswami is talking about, that how to hear and what is the process, means in the purport Prabhupada writes that how this can be done. So we discussed about what are the 9 processes, and what we are going to discuss is hearing. And now we come back to the source of knowledge. So while going through my studies, Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita about this disciplic succession, that who are actually, whom we are following, and how the knowledge comes to us. And it actually made me very excited, and I thought I must share. And then again, I was reading a prayer from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, where he has actually sung a song, and I'm going to read quickly, introduce to all of you, and where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is talking about the relationship to his guru and his disciple. And to my amazement, in this disciplic succession, there are many, if not many, a couple of them who are actually not Diksha Guru, they are actually Shiksha Gurus. And somehow I have developed interest to actually understand these great personalities, and which Prabhupada has very nicely mentioned. So we know Krishna, number 1, Brahma, Narad, Vyas, Madhva, Padmanabh, Narhari, Madhava, Akshobhaya, Jayatirtha, Jnana Sindhu, Dayanidhi, Vidyanidhi, Rajendra, Jaya Dharma, Purushottama, Brahmanya Tirtha, Vyasa Tirtha, Lakshmipati, Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, Nityanand Advaita, Lord Chaitanya, Rupa, Swarupa Sanatan, Raghunath Jiva, Krishnadas Narottama, Vishwanath, Baladeva Jagannath, Bhakti Vinod, Gaura Kishore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. So this is very important for us, that we understand these great personalities and how much they have done for us. So this is a very famous prayer which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj has sung. So I don't know that, but I will read the translation, and that will give you an idea about the relationship which is described between the guru and the disciple, how this entire disciplic succession is connected to each other. And I really feel very excited about it. And what is the most exciting part is that I never knew that Madhvacharya, which is coming into this, has actually met Vyasdev in Badrinath. I found out from this. I thought I must share this. And this is how we are connected to this disciplic succession. And that Sut Goswami, whatever knowledge he's giving, that's how authenticate that knowledge is. And we just need to follow as told to us, not using our own intelligence. So translation, in the beginning of creation, the science of devotional service was received by the four-headed Brahma from Supreme Lord Krishna. Devarshi Narad's understanding of this divine science was obtained from Brahma. The great sage Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas, who was empowered to compile the Vedic literatures, became a disciple of Devarshi Narad. This is how much we already know. Shripad Madhvacharya, the founder of the Suddha Dvaita school of Vedanta philosophy, who visited Vyasadeva at Badrikashram in the 13th century to learn from him Vedanta philosophy, calls him a servant of Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas. Purna Pragna Tirtha, that is Madhva, is the guru and sole refuge of Padmanabh Tirtha. Number 2, the two other principal disciples of Madhva are Narhari Tirtha and Madhava Tirtha. Madhava Tirtha accepted the great Paramhansa Akshobhaya Tirtha as a disciple. The principal disciple of Akshobhaya Tirtha was known as Jaya Tirtha. Jaya Tirtha's service was for his disciple Jnana Sindhu. Number 3, Dayanidhi received the science of devotional service from Jnana Sindhu, and the servant of Dayanidhi was Vidyanidhi, that is Vidyadhiraj Tirtha. Rajendra Tirtha became a disciple of Vidyadhiraj Tirtha. Rajendra Tirtha's servant was known as Jayadharma or Vijayadhwaja Tirtha. In this way, you should properly understand this disciplic succession. That is Srila Prabhupada's Gurudev talking about. The great sannyasi Sri Purushottam Tirtha received his knowledge in the service of his Guru, Vijayadhwaja Tirtha, that is Jaya Dharma. The principal disciple of Purushottam Tirtha was Subramanyam Tirtha. His servant was the great Vyas Tirtha, that is Vyas Rai. Vyas Tirtha's servant was Lakshmipati Tirtha, whose disciple was Madhvendra Puri Goswami. The chief disciple of Madhvendra Puri was Ishwar Puri, and two of his other disciples were renowned incarnation of Godhead Sri Nityanand and Advaita Acharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the spiritual preceptor of all the worlds, made Ishwar Puri greatly fortunate by accepting him as a spiritual master. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya is not different from Sri Radha and Krishna, and is the very life of those Vaishnavas who follow Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami were the givers of great happiness to Vishwambhar, that is Sri Chaitanya. Number 7, the great souls Jiva Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami became very dear to Rupa Goswami. Jiva Goswami was a disciple of Rupa Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami, a disciple of Advait Acharya's disciple. Yadunand Acharya was also accepted by Rupa and Sanatan as the third brother. Raghunath Das Goswami's beloved student was Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj was an intimate friend of Loknath Goswami. They lived together in the Vrindavan and always discussed the topics of Krishna with one another. Loknath Goswami, a disciple of Galadhar Pandit, had only one disciple whose name was Narottam Das. Narottam Das was always engaged in the service of his Guru, and he also engaged himself in the service of his Guru's intimate friend. Thus, he became very dear to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. To serve the feet of Narottam Das Thakur was the only desire of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who was fourth Acharya in disciplic succession from Narottam Das. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was Shiksha Guru, that is instructing spiritual master of Valadev Vidyabhushan, to whom he taught the precepts of Srimad Bhāgavatam. Jagannath Das Babaji was a very prominent Acharya. Sri after Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan and was the beloved Shiksha Guru of Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's intimate friend and associate was the eminent Mahabhagavat Sri Gaurakishore Das Babaji, whose sole joy was found in Sri Hari Bhajan. These great saintly Vaishnavas are all Paramhansa, or devotees of the highest order, and they are all part of the Lord Gauranga's own spiritual family. Their holy feet are my refuge. I have no real interest in devotional service, and I am a poor and lowly Tridandi sannyasi named Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So, this is very interesting that in this list of what did I do? So in the list of this disciplic succession, there is no name of Shukadev Goswami and Suta Goswami. That is very interesting. But that's not what we are going to discuss. So coming back to this, the other important word in this purport and the verse is nivishta, being perfectly attentive. Being perfectly attentive, this rapt attention. And as Prabhupada talks about this, no one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. And no one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. That is the 4 activities which even an animal can do: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So unless we follow the process of purifying our activities, our mind cannot be controlled. We all know Chanchalam Hi Mana Krishna, that it is impossible to control the mind, and unless our mind is controlled, we cannot hear, we cannot listen. And that is our biggest problem, to be able to control our mind. Because we are not able to control our eating, we have a problem in controlling our sleeping and fearing and mating. So the focus is to purify our mind, and to purify our mind, it is important that we develop the taste to hear. And there is a very famous verse in Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 16. Sushushoha Shraddha Dhanasya Vasudeve Katha Ruchihi Syana Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Purna Tirtha Nishevanat. In this verse, translation by Srila Prabhupada, ki jai, O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. So that is the secret of actually developing the taste to hear, and that is the first stage of devotional service. That's the beginning from where we start our devotional service. We all talk about purifying our devotional service. So we can purify our devotional service only also by just improving our hearing and listening. And that can be done by serving a pure devotee. But what is the quality of the pure devotee? Who are completely free from all vice. And Prabhupada in the purport described that who are these kind of devotees. By serving them, we can actually develop the taste to listen, to hear about Krishna. and to be engaged in performing our devotional service. The servant of gods ought to be respected as God by the devotees who actually want to go back to Godhead. Such servants of God are called Mahatmas or Tirthas, and they preach according to particular time and place. So this is very important, time and place. And also, Prabhupada writes in the purport of this verse, which we are studying today, about who are the persons whom we should avoid to hear from or listen to, and when they are talking about Bhagavatam. The person who are associating with the people who are engaged in sex life, or somebody who is preaching Bhagavatam to make his living or to make money. So Prabhupada talks about this, that who is free from all vices, from all vice. They are by serving them, we can develop a taste to hear about Krishna. And we all know, and in our devotional journey, that we all struggle to actually remain focused and to keep engaged in the service of Krishna. We all have our ups and downs. And because we know that Krishna's energies are working and we are under illusion and our mind is there and our senses are there, so it becomes very difficult to even to hear to these messages. And that solution is coming from Suta Goswami, that no, this can actually be very simple process if you just do these things. We all know that Krishna's energies are impossible to overcome, but there is a process given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also, and same thing is being repeated here also. So the quality of these, the servants of gods urge people to become devotee of the Lord. They never tolerate being called God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was God himself according to the indication of the revealed scriptures, but he played the part of a devotee. People who knew him to be God addressed him as a God, but he used to block his ears with his hands and chant the name of Lord Vishnu. He strongly protested against being called God, although undoubtedly he was God himself. The Lord behaves so to warn us against unscrupulous men who take pleasure in being addressed as God. So this is a big challenge to us who are listening to hear about Krishna, listening to Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada will say that if you want to be cheated, you find a cheater guru. So if you get a cheater guru, how you can get the real message of Bhagavatam and how actually you can see Krishna in Bhagavatam. So it's very important that we have this source of knowledge which is bona fide, which is Prabhupada is talking about this, and Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj also has written a very nice prayer. And further Prabhupada writes, the servant of God come to propagate God consciousness, and intelligent people should cooperate with them in every respect. By serving the servant of God, one can please God more than by directly serving the Lord. That's where the critical part starts, that how we progress in our devotional service, how we develop the Vasudeva Katharuchi, this part. That is Shraddha Dhanasya, which Prabhupada, which Sukadeva Goswami is reciting. So, and Prabhupada is very clear that by serving the servant of the God, one can please God more than by directly serving the Lord. The Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because such servants risk everything for the service of the Lord and so are very dear to the Lord. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 69, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he or nor will there ever be one more dear to me. By serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants, and thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of Lord. The eagerness to hear about God is the first qualification of devotee eligible for entering into the kingdom of God. The eagerness to hear about God, that again is hearing. So, how to purify this hearing and how to be able to pay full attention, how to be able to control our mind. That is again 4 processes given. And I don't know, for some reason, we have whenever I talk to new devotees and persons who are actually looking towards us for help, and they always find that Krishna consciousness is very difficult and they cannot follow the process. So we tell them that no, Krishna consciousness is very simple. At least you are very difficult. You cannot understand. You have a problem in controlling your mind. You have a problem in controlling your eating habits. You have a problem that you cannot follow someone. You have a problem with yourself. So, and that's what they don't want to hear. And we all know that why this happens to them. So that's my realization from this verse is, which Sukadeva Goswami is talking about after telling the previous 43 verses are talking about 20 incarnation of Krishna. And then he talks about this 44 verse about this particular message, that how do I got this knowledge? And this knowledge is so simple, this information is so simple, but we struggle to implement this knowledge because we are complicated. We are not even able to hear those messages. I don't know, many of you will know that the context of Srimad Bhagavatam means, to me, I find it Srimad Bhagavatam very practical, very simple, and it becomes complicated when we are complicated. When we don't want to understand as the message is coming from. And that shows that how serious we are. If you all remember, in the beginning of when Suta Goswami start reciting this Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj in Hastinapur on the banks of Ganges, where Vyasdev and Narad Muni were also present, there were only 6 questions were asked. That is the foundation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And those 6 questions from where this entire discourse started, and in that discussion, or in the when Sukadeva Goswami was talking about this entire 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, everybody was hearing. There was no YouTube, there was no social media, there was no visualization, and all the devotees could understand and connect and purify. And when Suta Goswami, after thousands of years, he was in Naimisharanya, I think close to Lucknow. He was telling to a group of devotees again, and he could recite all the verses. That's how their memory was. And the memory was that strong because they were pure. They were not complicated. So the 6 questions which were asked, which I thought I must introduce to. First question was, which is, I suppose, the foundation of Bhagavatam, is the what purpose of Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva? That is the first question was asked. The second question was, please explain to us those teaching imparted by previous acharyas, for one is uplifted both by speaking and by hearing them. Number 3, who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of quarrel, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord. Number 4, who are eager to hear about the adventure he performs in his various incarnations. Number 5, please narrate to us the transcendental pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead's multi-incarnations. And number 6, whom the religious principles have gone for shelter after Krishna has departed. So, to conclude this, and then we come to the question answer, because I have tried to simplify it, and hopefully I have not complicated that. Tatra kirtayato viprashera bhuri tejasaha aham chagyo gamam tatra nivishtastada anugrahat so aham vaha shravishyami yathadhitam yathamati. O learned Brahmanas, when Sukta Goswami recited Bhagavatam, there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. So this process is very simple, as long as we have rapt attention, and of course we need the mercy of these pure devotees. And because they talk yatha ditam yatha mati, means they don't add or delete anything from this. They just give the message as they are. This is the only way of actually understanding Bhagavatam and purifying our devotional service, devotional life. So anybody has got any question now? This is my realization. I want some questions, please, because this is a very important verse. If you have got anything to ask.
I'm not sure if this is in the spirit of the lecture or not, this question, if it is in the spirit of the lecture or not. But my question is that we always say that people who believe in the Mayavad philosophy, or the people who don't believe in the personal form of Krishna, that they fall down from whatever form of practice or yoga that they're following, that they're always weak in whatever they do because they fall down from it. And as you said, like there are a lot of people who leave the practice of Krishna consciousness, or people who fall down from even our path. So I would just like to ask, what's the difference between us and them, if like people following the practices, both of them are like, they have the propensity to fall down?
Very good question, Divyanshi. And see, so you said somebody who's following Mayavad and somebody who's following Krishna. So what is the difference between them? Correct? I understand.
What is the difference between them if both of those people have the propensity to fall down?
Propensity to fall down. Propensity. What do you mean by propensity to fall down? How a Mayavadi can fall down?
Because this is something that I've read in a lot of places, that people who don't believe in the personal form of Krishna and they are more attracted to the impersonal form, then like who try to control their senses mechanically by trying to not engage in any activity, those people always fall down from their goal or like their purpose. So yeah.
So we'll focus on this. People who are following Krishna. Mayavadis are already fallen because they don't understand Krishna, so they are not there. And if so, we don't want to discuss. But somebody who's following Krishna and he has gone to the level of Brahman realization, into who has merged into this, and they fall down. That's your question? Correct? So there are three types of realization: Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. Correct? And this Brahman realization means they realize the eternity. They don't realize Paramatma. They don't realize Bhagavan. And there's a reason why they do not realize Paramatma, and the reason they do not realize Bhagavan, because they don't believe into it. Their ego is still there. So they get to a certain level, they have achieved what they want to achieve. They are happy with merging with the effulgence of Krishna, Brahma Jyoti, but they don't have knowledge. They don't have super soul knowledge. They don't believe that there's a person whose energy is this effulgence is. And that's why after some time, in a very, what should I call you? In a very normal language, they actually get bored. They have no activity to do. They don't have any knowledge. That's how long you can be in shunya, in zero. You have nothing to do. And you attain. So the nature of soul is to enjoy. Yeah, there are three, eternity, bliss, and knowledge. So if you're not doing any devotional service, if you don't have a knowledge, we tend to fall down, and that's why they fall down. Have I made sense, Divyanshi?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Very good question. Yes. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Just need to have a question, Prabhu. Very nice question she asked. Divyanshi Mataji just asked a very nice question in regards of Krishna consciousness. Prabhu, I'm talking about the present situation in our temples and in the ISKCON everywhere else. Okay, so there are a lot of, I think, fall downs. Even when the devotees come into the Krishna consciousness just for their own sake and started doing corruptions, even in the temples, everything. So that is the type of the fall down, and whether they will accept it as a Mayavadi or they are going to be still accepted as a Krishna consciousness and they are not going to be fall down. My question was that.
Prabhuji, you are very knowledgeable, Prabhu. You tell me, if somebody goes to temple and he get corrupted, what you will classify him as?
Definitely, I'm going to classify him as a, I'm not going to classify him as a devotee. I'm going to classify him as a kapti.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, yeah. So my point was that, when we ask some of the question to some of the people, a lot of people says, no, Prabhu, it is not like that. It is not like that. Because where Krishna says my devotees never, vanquishes. So how could they can be fall down? That is the thing. I mean, idea was that bhakti mein sab kuch chalta hai, ya andbhakti mein sab kuch chalta hai. I'm not getting the point, because I asked this question, but what I realized, it is totally wrong, from myself. I saw, okay, but still, a lot of people, somebody has, a lot of devotees, I'll not, when I attend one of the lectures from, Sydney, Vijay Gopikesh Prabhu, he came here, and I asked the same questions to him also, Dasa, and he had given me a diplomatic answer. That is the thing. So, Prabhu, that's the thing. I just want to clear you from whether there is a fall down or not.
Prabhu, what we discussed in our class today, and let me tell you about Divyanshi and Parth. They are very intelligent class of students in their class and wherever they go. So they actually ask very good question all the time. Even I was having a class yesterday, and they had a very good discussion. And they are genuinely interested. That's why they are connected to this. And I told them that your only hope is Amrish Prabhu. I told them also like this in that class, that don't listen to me, listen to Amrish Prabhu. So similarly, Prabhu, it's very important whom we listen to, whom we are getting knowledge from. Like we are discussing here Bhagavatam, Prabhu.
Yeah.
We are talking about from where source of knowledge. So if you're talking to somebody who is not pure, you can imagine what kind of answer you're going to get, Prabhu. If that soul, but what just we discussed about the 32 personalities, disciplic succession, and somebody who is following them sincerely, if they are not in that category, then we must fall down to Srila Prabhupada's books and look for that knowledge there, Prabhu. Otherwise, we will get distracted, we will get disheartened, we will get frustrated, we will lose our interest in bhakti, because if we don't associate or we listen to those kind of people, if they are really like that. So I think, yeah, let us focus on what we are discussing here. But very good question, Prabhu. This is that's where we tell the people, the devotees who come to us, that use your intelligence to understand the scriptures, read Srila Prabhupada books, and it is in our group, in our weekend, that we always take them back to books. Always. We always study a book, we always see what Prabhupada is saying, and then we ask them to tell them Realisation, and then then we guide them that how to actually how to understand what Prabhupada is saying. That's so important in this time of duplicity and hypocrisy, Prabhu. You are absolutely right, Prabhu.
Thanks very much, Prabhu. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Okay, Prabhu. Very good.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Avinash Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a nice class today. And I'm really very gladdened that you have stressed the importance of disciplic succession. Because, I was just thinking, when you have your children, or you have your family members, and when you meet them, like when your children are growing up, then how you tell them about your family background, it's very important. So I remember that when we read even the list of the disciplic succession, it just makes you understand how powerful this Krishna consciousness is. And it's very important for us to remind ourselves of that we are not alone. We can never do anything alone in these activities. So I think this giving the importance to succession is very important, and it's good for us to acknowledge it more so often. So thank you very much for doing that, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother. When I was reading this book and I come across this particular verse, and I have not seen any other, maybe I may be wrong, or you may correct me, that where actually disciplic succession is being worshipped. In our altar, there is a disciplic succession, that we are worshipping them and we are glorifying them. Our prayer starts with praying the spiritual master. Most of the faiths, or I may be wrong, that they're actually not many, but most of them are actually not worshipping the disciplic succession. And number one. Number two, this purity of this disciplic succession was one of the driving force for me to get attracted to this Krishna consciousness. I said, why so many people? And then, it is connected to Krishna. How come that happened? How this is possible? And then the purity of knowledge, that how this knowledge is actually flowing from Krishna to Brahma, to Narad, to Vyasdev, to us, to each step. And then we come, and that's why many times when we were discussing this time, and then Amrish will always say that we are so fortunate that somehow we have come in contact with Srila Prabhupada. We don't realize this. So it is up to us that how much we want to hear, how much we want to understand, and how much we want to take advantage to actually make our life successful. That was one of my initial early stage realization, which drove me into Krishna consciousness. No, this is what I should do, because I was struggling to find a solution to my spiritual queries. Thank you, Mother. I agree with you. I fully agree with you.
Yes, Prabhuji, and also then for all of us going forward to carry that legacy, it is a very important that we are sincere in whatever we do. So, that is also important for future generations. So thank you very much. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Amrish Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Avinash Krishna Prabhu, for your very nice realizations and very nice questions also coming from different devotees. And yes, Srimad Bhagavatam, if we stick to it, then Srila Prabhupada will really pull us out from this rut. Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj will always say that. So